Γεια σας, το Guitarspot σήμερα βρίσκεται στην αίθουσα εκδηλώσεων Modern Music Arts, όπου έχουμε την τιμή σήμερα να φιλοξενούμε τον κιθαρίστα Christophe Godin. Mr. Godin, welcome to Greece. Thank you for this interview.
My pleasure.
Is this the first time you've been here to Greece?
It's the second time.
Okay.
I already came once in Kavala for a guitar clinic, but this is my first time in Athens.
What do you do usually in a guitar clinic?
Well, I play. It's different from from cities and schools to schools, but I guess tonight what I'm going to do is play some songs just to introduce myself, because most people probably don't know about the stuff I'm playing. A lot of people see me on the YouTube channels, but they never hear really what I'm doing. So I'm going to play a song.
What do you mean? They see you, but they don't hear you.
A lot of time when you are on YouTube, it's for demonstrating techniques or showing exercises and things like this. But you rarely get a chance to play a whole song or to be with the band on stage. There are some videos, but not that many. So I'm gonna be playing one song just to introduce myself, and then try to get people in the loop so they ask question, and then we can interact. And well, I'll be playing some songs and replying to questions. That's the way it's going to build up.
Why did you say that this varies from school to school or from country to country? Is there something that people ask you specifically to do, or is it something?
Sometimes there are guitar teachers who really want to focus on technique, and they don't want you to play too much. They want you to explain a lot of things. But I guess tonight, with a lot of young people, a lot of people with different levels, and I guess once again, people who never saw me, it's a good way to get a little more entertaining by playing things. Sometimes it's a pity because a lot of guitar teachers or guitar schools are really into technique, and I guess it's more about the music when you do a clinic, and that's what I will try to do tonight. Getting something that is more about the way I think about the music, the way I practice my guitar, but not on a technical point of view, more about the musicianship and everything.
Okay, so you're gonna try to teach that, but how did you learn?
Well, I'm an old man. I'm 72. No, I'm kidding, of course. I'm 45. Nobody laughs.
Because
my joke is bad.
We don't believe you.
Okay. No, as many people of my generation, I'm self-taught, so I listen to a lot of guys. I picked up songs from records that are vinyls that I used to listen to, or tapes. And
how many tapes have you destroyed in the process?
Probably thousands. I don't know. At some point, I was trying to cover almost any song I would listen to. I played a lot of Judas Priest, a lot of Iron Maiden, a lot of AC/DC, Van Halen.
But how did you build the basics, the fundamentals in which you could learn to play and cover all the things? Because when you first heard the guitar, I guess you picked up the instrument. How did you figure it out?
My sister and my brother were trying to play the guitar. There was a guitar at home, and to be honest, I have a background. I've been playing the violin from age 4 to 10. My mother is a musician, and the first time I've been in touch with the guitar, I just tried it too. It sounded a bit like this. But I found it fun to be able to get a sound that sounded a bit like music on an instrument that was completely, something new for me. And I built up some kind of a passion for the instrument by trying and, picking up things here and there. At first, it was very simple, like that's the way you sound when you start, right? And little by little, I got more in tune, and I got more complex chord progressions. And well, it's just building up by trial and mistakes that things happened.
And with other friends, learning each other.
We are in a small town in the Alps, but there are many guitar players, and there's always been some kind of a tradition of playing together. So even when I started, I think I did my first show when I was maybe. I was playing for 6 months or something. I was playing like crap, but there were places where you could go on stage and play crappy stuff, and people would still come and say, "Oh, it's good." So it was kind of a big support and a good motivation.
Okay. So you started learning the guitar, and then you started trying to cover all the songs you heard.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. The main thing that drove you to play guitar was that there was a guitar house, not so much the music that
yes,
you were
yes,
listening.
because it's the strange family I'm from, because my mother was a classical musician, so we were listening to a lot of classical music. My sister was more into pop rock. She was a big fan of Joe Jackson, who else? The Osmond Brothers, Van Halen, AC/DC. And my brother, who is the older in the family, was listening to a lot of jazz and a lot of things. So I was always surrounded with a lot of music. So at some point, when I picked up the guitar, it was really like trying to cover anything I was listening to. I mentioned Iron Maiden and those bands because I liked heavy metal at the time, but I tried to cover songs from the Beatles, songs from Joe Jackson, Kansas. I don't know whether you know, all those things. I was just trying to pick as many things as possible. And
was there a point that you realized that you heard something that changed your life?
It's hard to. Maybe Van Halen, yes. Maybe the first time I heard.
Not even Eruption?
Well, it's funny because Eruption was something impressive, but it was not a song. And I've always been attracted by songs. At first, I didn't want to play all the, all those things. I just wanted to have as many songs as possible.
It's very strange that you say that, because people that watch you on the internet and the YouTube tend to
think that I'm a shredder.
Yeah, you are a shredder, no question about it. But you also talk about the music of the whole idea of shredding, and that's very strange.
That's really how my main influence, probably as a songwriter, is Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson has no guitar, almost no guitar in his songs, and I've always been more attracted by a nice chord progression than an amazing fast lick or whatever. It came afterwards. The funny thing is that it came when Yngwie Malmsteen appeared, and when I heard those. I said to myself, that sounds a bit like what I was learning on the violin, and it made some kind of a connection in my head. And I said to myself, well, I should maybe give a try to have as many riffs as possible, but also try to cover as many licks as possible and try to put that together. And slowly, little by little, it built up to something that is, actually, I hope I'm trying to write songs with interesting guitar parts in it. You see what I mean? Yeah. I mean, the song is better than the guitar itself. The song is more important. People remember the songs. They don't remember a guitar lick. But the guitar lick is interesting for the guitarist.
That's questionable, because some people remember solos and they sing it note by note.
Yes, but
it was part of the music. It was the music itself.
But the kind of solos you're talking about is maybe more like a very melodic solo, like The Wall from Pink Floyd, or maybe the thing you can sing.
I've seen people.
It's hard to sing this.
The solo from Van Halen.
It's hard to sing Eruption. Can you sing Eruption for me, please?
No. I can sing.
No one can.
The technical aspect of guitar, when did it start
working on it?
Yeah, realizing that there's something there, that you are very talented and you have a gift for that.
To be honest, and I'm really honest, I never saw myself as somebody talented. I work hard, and it requires hours of practice for me to reach a good level of playability. And
well, then how do you explain that when two people study the same amount of hours, the one plays like an alien and the other one just plays? It's not talent.
I guess we have abilities, but let's be honest. If I listen to a guy like Christophe Godin,
yeah,
he is an alien to me. He is somebody who can pick up a guitar and he can play whatever he wants. He's really over the top. I'm somebody who really needs to work on the guitar to achieve the things I want to achieve.
But
and
what makes you think that he doesn't work to achieve?
He does, but he's got that little extra thing. It's very subtle, because maybe some people don't notice the difference. I always have that same example. My ex-wife wouldn't make the difference between this and that. Of course, this is way easier, okay, than this. But for people who don't know, it just sounds like there are many notes, and it's like. And I guess at some point there are some players like Guthrie to me who are just, that's that extra thing that makes them different. And it requires probably to see them really closely and to listen to them very closely to hear the difference. Because when I hear and see Guthrie playing, I have the feeling that it's like a language to him. It's way easier than for the others. See what I mean?
Whereas you don't think that this is a language for you.
It is, but it is not as natural as somebody like Guthrie. I think so. I mean, you know, it's a tough question to say what makes the difference between somebody who plays well and somebody who plays super well whatsoever. And I don't see myself as somebody who plays super well. I'm just trying to be as good as possible. I'm not being humble. Yes. I really mean it. And sometimes when I listen back to some things that I've done, I'm horrified. And I said to myself, how can you sound so crappy? I guess when I listen to anything that Guthrie has done, I'm mentioning Guthrie, but I could mention a lot of other guys. Jeff Beck, for me, is like this. He's not a technical player, but whatever he plays, it sounds beautiful and it sounds musical. You see, it's another thing. But yeah. Alan Holdsworth is the same, and Eddie Van Halen was the same when he came up. Nobody could play like him. If you listen to the very early Van Halen records, there are many mistakes on the records. It's really played on the spot, but it's just, you know, there's some kind of magic, and it's hard to really touch the point why it's that magical. You see what I mean? Yeah,
but the thing is that nowadays with the YouTube and the internet, we can see a lot of people cloning guitar players to a very significant extent that if you close your eyes you might not hear the difference. True. But what's the point in that? What do you think?
I guess it's good to copy, but at some point you get to reinterpret.
It's not copying, it's cloning.
It's cloning. Yeah. Well, I'm not into.
Did you learn that way? Did you try to learn note by note?
No. What I've always tried to understand how. You know, how the guy was working to sound like this. I can give you an example if you want. When I started playing the guitar, distortion. I was a fan of Yngwie Malmsteen, and I noticed that the way he sounded was different from other players like Van Halen and the all the shredders at the time, because he was using that pickup mostly when he was soloing, which gave him that sound that was very round. You see what I mean? Yeah. And it was more like, I don't know, I just put the distortion for one note, but it was more like I'm trying to understand how he sounds, what is the kind of language that he's working on, but not trying to copy the licks. You see what I mean? Yeah. It's just like you want to learn Greek. I will not try to have the same voice as you have. I will try to see how you pronounce things, but still I want to have my voice when I speak. When I speak English, I'm not an Englishman, I'm a Frenchman, but I sound the same if I speak English or if I speak French or German or whatever language. The idea is to keep yourself, to keep your personality, but trying to understand how the other languages work. So it's more about how does he hold his pick, what pickup is he using, what gauge of strings is he using, and trying to understand this and kind of copy it, but in your very own way. Okay. Well, that's what I think.
Okay. So, how did your career as a musician started then? You started playing the guitar, and what?
Well, as I said before, I'm lucky in the town where I was born. There was a lot of places for guitarists, so I started to play from places to places in this very small county, and little by little. I extended the boundaries, the limits, and at some point there was a very famous TV program, and the guy who was there was a band playing, and there was I don't know how you would call this, the boss of the band, let's say, just noticed me and proposed me to come on stage on that very big TV channel, and all of a sudden I got exposure, and the magazines got interested in what I was doing. The brands of guitars, brands of amps get interested in what I was doing, and from here I built up something a little more professional. I came up with a new band. I came up with new music. I recorded some stuff, especially in the way that they were seeing me as a player, these instrumental things and everything, and that's how it built up. And now I'm very involved in Vigier guitars and Laney amps. I'm trying to be part of the heart of those companies, and I guess they helped a lot to my exposure to. So it's a mix between a lot of different things, the brands, the TV, and everything. But I'm not super famous. I'm just I'm just somebody in the world of guitarists who has a little name. But I don't call this. It's a very specialized thing. I don't know how to describe this. I'm not a superstar. So
is that always the point or the thing that everybody is after, being a star?
Well, actually, I'm not after this at all. Really, I'm about doing my own thing and being exposed to people who like that kind of thing. I had the proposal. Maybe you never heard of that guy, but we have a very famous pop singer in France called Johnny Hallyday. Have you heard of that guy?
Nope.
Well, you don't miss anything. But I was once proposed to be the new guitarist of that guy, and that would have given me a lot of exposure because he was playing stadiums in France and he was, playing all around Europe. But the music was really crap to me, and I wouldn't have stand myself being on stage playing that crap as a job. My job is to play music, and to me that was not being a musician at some point. I don't know if you get.
Well, that leads us to another big discussion about people trying to live being a musician and compromising with stuff they understand that's not their cup of tea. And they don't like it, but they do it for
living.
For living, yeah.
I will tell you something. If I couldn't do what I like to do, and I had to choose in between, working in a factory or playing with the guy I was talking about, I would play with the guy I'm talking about. I mean, I had that chance not to have to do it because.
But some will argue that if you play with someone that you don't like, you don't have the energy and the time to focus on what you really like. So you will never know if you could have made it otherwise.
Yeah, true. But I guess my generation was lucky that there was a lot of job. It was easy to have a band, find networks to have venues to play and everything. Probably nowadays it's much more difficult for a young guy coming up to find a job as a musician. And if you get an opportunity of being exposed and back up some very famous pop star, I guess that's something you have to do. But at the time I was proposed this, I had the choice, and so I chose not to do the very popular thing and to keep on doing my very own personal things that would bring me enough money to be happy, but not super big money and super big exposure. You see what I mean? You see the difference?
Okay.
But I'm sure that nowadays it's much more difficult to do than at the time where I was a young man.
Nowadays the competition seems a lot of more stiff and more powerful because through the internet and the YouTube you get exposed to people,
millions of people.
Yeah, and you see people, you think you're the best, but then you turn YouTube and you say
you get 1,000 guy who play as good as you.
Yeah, even better.
Yeah, if not more. Yes,
it's more difficult to stand out. Okay, but if you had to give an advice to someone starting right now, this period of time, what would it be?
Well, YouTube is a very good way of being exposed, and if you trust really, if you trust yourself, and if you really think that you're doing things not to be the best, but to try to do the best that you can, which is different. A lot of guitarists think that they can, I can play better than this guy. Oh, this guy is better than what guy? You know what I mean? And few players just come up with something that they think is music that they like. You see what I mean? You see the difference? To me, there are millions of shredders on YouTube, and you hear always that same, but you rarely hear a melody, you rarely hear a nice band, a nice vibrato, and all of a sudden you get something that stands out. Have you heard of Jack Tamarat?
Yeah.
To me, he's that kind of guy. Or maybe in the older days, Andy Timmons.
Yeah.
Andy Timmons is playing, and you hear a melody, you can sing along. You can hear the phrasing and everything. He's a good friend, and he's an amazing player. To me, I've played with him several times because he was endorsed by Laney, and I learned a lot with this guy because he's a little older than me. So I was just watching him. He was very professional, and even in the morning at 10 o'clock at the Music Messe on a very small stage with just 10 people, he would give 100% of everything because it's the music that he likes. He plays music. He doesn't play to make an impression or to prove something. He just plays because he loves to play. And I learned a lot from that guy because to me, he was standing out of the others of the crowd because he was the one who was not thinking about, I will show you how I can play. He was just thinking about, I will show you the music I love to play. I hope you will enjoy. You see the difference?
Yeah.
And that's what if I have to give an advice to young players, that's about it. I mean, think of yourself as a musician, not as a competitor. And if you think of yourself as a musician, you will question yourself a little more about your playing, and you will listen to what you do with a lot more distance than just the fact of being better than somebody else.
What are you working nowadays, music-wise? New record, new tour, stuff?
Well, I've been very busy this year because I've been doing 190 gigs, which is a lot. And I've been touring with Mogulbo, which is my main project. It's let's say power jazz metal trio. That's what I'm going to be playing tonight. So we just released our 5th album, and we're working on the 6th album at the moment. I released an album with the band Neo, which is kind of Pantera meets the Beatles, which is a really cool band too. And I've been doing an acoustic record with a flamenco player. So I'm playing the acoustic steel guitar, and he's playing the nylon string. And so I've been touring with all those projects, plus all the clinics and everything. So, but at the moment it's Mogulbo. I'm working on that 6th album, and it's going to sound really. We want to try to do something like Korn meets Chick Corea.
Okay.
Kind of. I mean, very jazzy on the side and very Panther-esque on the other side.
Okay, okay. So, guitar-wise, you are endorsed by Vigia, okay?
16 years already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell us something about this guitar that you have here, your special model or
well, this is the
modifications?
Christophe Godin signature model.
Yeah.
So the neck is a little thicker than the ones that you have on the regular Supra series. You have extra high jumbo frets.
You like your action high?
The action is pretty high, yes.
That has something to do with your picking hand, or with
yes,
your...
and it's also I have a very heavy gauge because I have 11 to 54, and I'm tuned a whole step down. And I very often play with a clean sound, so I want to have a sound that has a lot of sustain, you know, not something that goes bzzz, because when the action is too low, each time you play it goes. So I want to have that kind of sound. What else? I have a DiMarzio tone zone, a chopper. I can never remember the name of that one because I don't use it. It's the TF1, I think. And
do you like the in-between places, the 2 and the 4, that combine this, or do you?
Yes, I use them for clean sound, but it's more about the sound of that one with a little bit of this than the sound of that one. And actually, when I'm in the center position, I have those two ones as single coils, which is really cool when you want to sound a bit like a Telecaster. That's a cool one. And the chopper is great because you can sound very jazzy. But at the same time, you can shred and do the mountain steam thing. So it's a very cool.
Do you have something that splits the coils?
No.
Make it single coil.
It's a very regular guitar, very simple, and well, like all the VGAs, you have that tremolo that is on bearing needles, so there's no friction. You have the graphite nut here and the locking head machines. So it's a very stable guitar. You can really and stays in tune. So it's a nice guitar, and I recommend it to everyone.
Okay, amp-wise, you're using Laney not today.
Laney for 16. Yes, today we didn't have the chance to have a Laney amp, but I've been same thing for 16 years now. I've been working with Laney. So mainly I'm using a GH50L head. It's just one channel, all tube. But they have so many different things. At the moment I'm recording with the Ironheart, which is their newest product that you can use it for reamping. You can just drive it directly into the computer. It's a very fantastic item, and that's the thing I'm using. And I'm working with Palmer and Zoom for effects. So these are all the companies I'm endorsing. So I'm making some kind of a promotion.
Okay.
And
Stompboxes?
Sorry?
You don't use any stone boxes?
Well, I have some new stuff from Zoom that they just released. It's a very small multi-effect stone box, which works really good.
It's digital. It's
a digital thing, yeah. But actually, I'm not using effects at all. I mainly have that very old, crappy volume pedal that I use as a volume knob, and that's it. And I'm directly into the amp. I'm not an amp.
In this debate that is going on the past few years about digital and analog gear and in recording and playing and stuff like that, where do you stand? What do you think?
I will be honest with you. I'm half deaf, for real. I have very, very bad ears and I can't hear the difference. If it sounds good to me, whether it's digital, whether it's analogic, I don't care, to be honest. I think it's great that you can record with digital stuff because you can edit things. If you have a fantastic solo and just one note that is a little bad, why would you play again? Just play the note again and that's done. I mean, the thing that really matters to me is that people listen to the best possible take that you can do, and then you have to practice to do it well on stage. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So about the recording, the digital things are really good, and about all the guitar gear, to be honest, I'm so low tech and I know so few things about this that I don't really make the difference.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm so disappointing.
Thank you very much for the interview. We wish you the best. Have a nice clinic tonight.
Thank you.
And we hope to see you soon again here in Greece.
Hope to be back. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Oh, bye bye.
Για περισσότερες συνεντεύξεις, παρουσιάσεις εξοπλισμού και online μαθήματα κιθάρας, επισκεφτείτε το Guitarspot.Gr.